What's going on, guys? It's Nick, and welcome to our very first Java applet tutorial. What this series is going to accomplish is it's going to teach us how to use applets, all the basics, and it's going to get you ready to make applets. So the first thing we need to do is we need to know what an applet is. We're going to get to some coding later. We're going to code a very simple applet in this tutorial, and then we're going to get into a little bit more advanced stuff later. But first, we need to know what an applet is. And an applet's pretty simple. An applet is simply some Java code that will run inside of your browser. So you can embed this into your website or HTML, and it should work just fine. So you probably use a lot of applets on every day on the web, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So what we need to do first off is we need to create a brand new project. Now I call this project Applets for a very obvious reason. And inside the source and default package, I'm going to create a brand new class. And I'm simply going to call this class Applet and hit finish. So this is our main class. Now, speaking of main, when you start a Java program, you usually call the main method, and that's called by the JVM. But we don't need to call the main method when we're making applets because it's running inside of your browser. The browser does that for you. So there's not going to be any main method calling. We're going to be using 3 different methods specifically to run our applets. And then we're going to add some methods later on so we can do some cool stuff. So first thing we need to do is we need to have this extends JApplet. And then after we extend JApplet, we need to import it. And then import JApplet. I feel like I'm going to be missing something. We'll look at that later. So the first main method that is required, the first method that is required, it's not required, but I suggest you write it. This is what we're going to call a data field, and this is the start method. Public void start. And you can see how we're overriding something, and if I hover over top of that, you can see that we're overriding java.applet.applet.start. So we're definitely overriding something that is useful in creating applets. Next, what we need to do is this is a required data field, and this is public void init, short for initialization. So this is when you first run your applet, and that it will also be overriding something. And then finally, we need to call a method that we are kind of familiar with if you've written more, let's say, complex Java programs. It's public void paint, and we need to pass the graphics variable g. So we've definitely seen most of this stuff, and we need to import graphics, I assume. Yes, we do. And there we go. So that's all working. So this is a basic applet. Now I'm going to run our applet right now, and this is what it looks like. So it's a blank applet. This is what it's supposed to look like. It has its own sort of applet viewer that you use to run your code. And down here where it says applet started, this is what we call the status bar. We're going to be using this in a later tutorial just for an example. But this is important to note that this down here is the status bar. This applet is the applet name. You can do some cool stuff with it, but we're not going to touch into that. So right now we have a blank applet that will not display anything. So for the remainder of this tutorial, I'm just going to add some stuff to the applet. So I'll just, I'm going to do the generic applet sort of first program. Now everyone's heard of the Hello World program. When you first write your Java program, you output Hello World to your console. But it's different for applets. Now you probably have never seen it if you've never coded an applet. And this is called the Hi Mom applet. And it's similar to the Hello World program. It's going to output some text into your applet, and then you make it pink and it's Hi Mom. It's not anything too special. That's what I learned. That was my first applet when I learned this in school. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set the background color. And we're going to do this in the initialization method. We're not going to do this in the graphics. So if we set background, what did I do wrong here? Add arguments. Yes, I want to add color. So we're going to call color dot. And like I said, we need to make it pink. And we'll just finish that off. So now if we run our applet, it should be pink or not. Definitely not pink. This object is definitely not pink. What if we changed it to pink? What would that do? Okay, so it's not going to do anything. But let's see what happens afterwards. Anyway, so now we're going to go draw string. And draw string. First off, we need to input a string, and that is Hi Mom. Now we need the x value, which we'll set to 100, and we need the Y value, which we'll set to 90. And let's save it, and now let's run our code. And now you can see it displays the pink background, which is a little bit, it's actually responding a little bit slow, but there we go. There's our Hi Mom applet, and you can see we can embed this in code and have this on any website we like. So that's basically going to conclude the first tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to look at simple graphics. So we're going to look more into the paint method and just drawing some simple shapes inside of our applets. So thanks guys for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget I put a tons of Minecraft modding, Minecraft Java, and Java programming on my channel every day, so subscribe and keep updated. And to finish it off, my name is The Institutions. Have a good one.